When irrefutable empirical evidence was presented by God, when Jesus performed miracles, what happened? They were declared to be a work of Satan by the Pharisees, weren't they? When you see creation and its obvious intelligent design, you claim it to be random chance and natural processes, whatever that means. By observing the same evidence, we reach different conclusions. No matter what type of evidence is put in our lap, we'll either say supernatural engineering, or look what took trillions of years to accomplish. Therefore, the only way to prove who's right, to determine who wins, at least for now, is the person that comes up with the best argument. Jesus refuted the Pharisees' accusations by this simple statement: how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but he is finished. Therefore, the only way for you to try to prove us wrong is not by empirical evidence, since we have plenty of ours, but by undermining our arguments for God. We, as Christians, only have two jobs: prove Yahweh is real and the one true God, and that the Holy Scriptures make sense. Number one has already been accomplished. Jesus is a historical figure. It's the current year because his birth changed the timeline, and what's most alarming, in a good way for us and in a very, and I mean very, foolish way on your part, when you say, what about the other gods, is that almost every major religion claims that somehow Jesus was one of them or mentions him in some capacity, while the Bible rejects every other fake deity. Now, number two is the most frustrating and problematic because you deem every valid answer to discrepancies as excuses, or even if somehow we are able to convince you of their rationality, you then get stumped and you want to do everything to win the debate, so you cowardly go back to, yeah, but where's the evidence, which makes absolutely no sense to pull that card. I'm just asking you to undermine our arguments. Stop being intellectually lazy. And if you cannot in any way call our belief irrational. The only way to win this debate is not by evidence but by argument. Because according to you, a man can become a woman. Your five senses aren't the issue, your heart disposition influences how your mind interprets what's true. You are the most irrational people on the face of the earth. Jesus was an alien, a time traveler. Really good technology is indistinguishable from magic. You always find an excuse, or may I say an argument. An argument to discredit the evidence, just like the Pharisees. Truly I say to you, all sins will be forgiven the sons and daughters of men, and whatever blasphemies they commit, but whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit never has forgiveness, but is guilty of an eternal sin, because they were saying, he has an unclean spirit. You self-deceiving deceivers dare to proclaim you want evidence when all you rely on is arguments. Satan deceived Eve by an argument, presidents get elected by arguments, scientific theories get proposed by arguments based on evidence that is interpreted by arguments.